Hello and welcome. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me today is Vinny Motiwala. And viewers, you know that this is your show where you get all your stock-related queries answered by the experts. So let's get started. But before coming to that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to. So Vinny, I would say finally a wonderful Wednesday coming in for the markets.
Absolutely, a wonderful Wednesday, especially after 8 trading sessions of Nifty ending in the red.
Absolutely.
Today we're seeing a bit of a green coming in there on the markets, and yes, Nifty gaining almost 0.6% in a trade as of now. Let's look at even the Sensex too, seeing almost similar gains coming in. Broader markets too performing slightly better than the benchmark indices. Actually outperforming the benchmark indices. Look at the Nifty mid cap up more than 1%, small cap space also around up 1% in trade. Now what's leading in terms of sectors for the markets is the metal space that is buzzing in trade up more than 3%. Nifty metal, PSU banks doing quite well in trade as well, and in terms of other than that, realty space too holding on to gains of almost more than 1%. So Nifty realty also doing quite well. All sectors as of now are trading in the green. Stock specific, Power Grid, Britannia, Cipla are among the top Nifty 50 losers, while among the gainers we have Adani Enterprises, again seeing some bit of gains at 12% uptick there. Hindalco, Adani Ports, Axis Bank and M&M among the top gainers coming in on that as well. And keep an eye out on all these auto stocks because we'll be watching out for the auto sales numbers coming in as well. But Shashi, let's not forget, summer season is here. It's heating up, temperatures are rising. We all are in that summertime, and what do we actually look at is some of the summer stocks. We all want ACs, we all want to drink Pepsi, Thumbs Up, Coke or juices, cold juices, beverages that come your way as well, and that is what we're going to be talking about on the lens as well. Now obviously we did have the IMDb prediction coming in as well. They were also saying about a hotter summer coming in this time around, and what they're saying, February temperatures that they saw coming in was the highest seen since 1901, and El Nino conditions are weakening during March and March to May, as well as maximum temperatures will be above the normal in the most parts as well. So that is a factor that we should be keeping an eye out on, because on the back of this, there is an increased sales in terms of your consumer durables, whether ACs, air coolers, and just in general summer sales for air conditioners account to 60% of the sales overall, annual sales, when you look at the trend coming in as well. Even in terms of companies, when they look at it on Voltas, Blue Star, like you can see on your screens, 85% of the revenues comes in from AC for Voltas. Blue Star also 60 to 65% of the sales come in from AC as well. And summer season is the peak selling season for these companies. Even when you look at beverage segments or food and beverages, Varun Beverages, 60% of the annual sales just comes between the months of Jan to June. HUL2 ice cream sales accounts to around Q1 sales in ice cream accounts to around 40% of their sales that time as well. So surely summer season is coming in, sizzling summers. Will you be looking at ice creams? What stocks will our experts be looking at? Let's bring on board today. We have Kunal Bothra as well as Saurabh Jain joining in with us. A very good morning to both of you all. And Saurabh, I'm going to come to you. Obviously we know that during this period of when you say March to May, June, you see good sales for these consumer durables or some of these FMCG companies as well. What are you looking at now? We are expecting a hotter summer coming in. What should we be expecting here in terms of these stocks, sectors? What is your view on that?
I think if you go by the predictions, the prediction says that even the April, May, June, we are going to witness above normal temperature, like 4-5 degrees would be higher in the 3 months, and La Nino forecast is also there. So I think there will be dual effect to play the summer, play well this theme. I think there are a lot of opportunities in the market. Some of you have already talked about, like the beverages and the air conditioners, and apart from that, from Varun Beverages, which is extremely doing good. If you look at the numbers, and most of the revenues comes from these hotter months. Also, the company has streamlined its, has gone into the chips category, which will again give good growth to the profitability. Apart from this, I think Blue Star and Havels can also be play out, and Lloyd is doing extremely well for the Havels also. Apart from that, I think you can also play the utilities. If you look at the January month, there was a 16% kind of a growth year on year, and 6% quarter month on month growth was witnessed in the energy demand. And if you go by the forecast like global warming, La Nino, and the hotter weather, I think these utilities companies can also do well. And for that matter, some of the dues from these discoms have also come down for these utilities. So these are and one can also play from the hotel side also. I think companies like Lemon Tree, Indian Hotels, they are posting good set of numbers. The average revenue room rent is also going up. Occupancy rates are going up. G20 meetings are there. Then we have lined up 2023 World Cricket World Cup is also there, and people have started moving. You know, spending a lot of money on their vacations. So these can be another form of good beneficiaries which you can play out.
Okay, so that's the fundamental take coming in on all these summer theme related stocks, wherein not just the consumption play, you can also look at some of the hotel plays as well. But Kunal, coming to you, since the start of February, a lot of these air conditioner companies have started showing good moves. So any of the companies from the whole of the pack that Winnie touched upon, a lot of names out there that you are liking at this point in time?
Well, yeah, quite a few of them, Srishti, because the likes of, for example, Voltas has done exceptionally well. There's Blue Star, Symphony, which has done pretty well for itself. Amber Enterprise as well has done exceptionally well. So there are a lot of stocks which have done reasonably well. So it's difficult to just pick maybe one or two, but I would probably go for something like Havells at current levels of 1200 approximately. Looks extremely attractive on the charts as well. The stock going to a phase of consolidation, so the risk word is very attractive. Voltas, if the stock corrects to say 875 levels, that could be a classic entry point for Voltas. So maybe another 20 rupees down from current zone, and the stock would look very, very attractive from a trading as well as a medium-term point of view.
Okay, those are some of the stocks, what you should be watching out for to beat the heat this summer. That's the view coming in from both our experts. On that note, we're going to sip into a very short break, viewers. Don't go anywhere because we'll be back and we will be taking your stock-related queries after this break. Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Before we get started with all your stock-related queries, Saurabh, a very important question that is always on everyone's mind is how should one be protecting themselves from the volatility in the market? Obviously, look at the Nifty. It has been subdued, sluggish over the last couple of weeks. Finally, some sign of green. But what should one be doing to save themselves from any volatility or protect themselves from any big losses?
I think one can save himself from volatility by investing only. I think it is better to invest money for the long term. And besides that, I think it is always important to look for the sectors where you are going to put money. To my mind, I think the sectors which are looking good for 2023 looks to me is the banking, capital goods, infrastructure stocks, hotel stocks. These are the some spaces where you can put money in the, especially in the large cap stocks. And apart from that, I think it is quite important to build your portfolio in terms of choosing good quality stocks where earnings volatility is is not much there. I mean, you can find volatility in the earnings for the sectors like metals or for that matter chemicals, where the volatility play is low. I think that is the place where you have to put money. Above that, I think again 2023 will be the year, to my mind, is where cost of capital would be higher, because still the central bankers are on the course to raise interest rate in order to curb inflation, both domestic and the global markets. So if the cost of money is likely to stay higher in the 2023, I think value over growth will win this year too, for the likes that we have witnessed in the 2022. So I think for that matters, sectors to avoid maybe would be IT, and IT sector is likely to be avoided in 2023. And new age technology stocks, I think it is a space where one should not put a huge sum of money.
Okay.
So I think this is the way to look at 2023.
Okay, so that's the advice coming in for all our retail investors. But viewers, let's get started with taking all your stock related queries. We are live on YouTube. YouTube as well as Twitter, and you can also connect with us on our WhatsApp number flashing right on your screen. So let's move on, and admitting the first query that I have is coming from Swati. And Saurabh, this one is fundamental query. Swati has been holding shares of some of the railway stocks like RVNL and IRFC, and she always also have some banking names like Union Bank and Bank of India, but she's having a loss of 22 to 30% in all of these counters. What to do next? Book loss or stay invested?
In the last 2 3 months, we have seen that there is a broader, disappointment in the broader markets. I mean, if you look at the last 3 months, the market have given negative returns, and apart from that, these railway stocks, in anticipation that there would be good amount of resources given to the sector, I think the stocks have really gone up, and now the corrections have started coming. These are some of the technical plays, and you cannot play these themes whole of the year. So in my sense, I think since the market has started moving up, I think it is better to take money off the table as you get your price. So in my sense, I think it is better to get out. With respect to the banking stock, I think this time around, I think private sector banks will win over the PSUs because of the government policies. In case we are likely to see the La Nino effect and the hotter conditions, I think these banks, government would ask public sector banks especially to make some, good for the agrarian economy, which again put these banks into the NPA vicious cycle. So in my mind, I think to my mind, I think it is better to play the banking sector, but from the private sector perspective.
Okay. And before I take the next query, request our experts to keep the query replies as concise as possible, because we have a lot of queries pouring in. And Kunal, the next one we have is for you. This one is from Santi, and this one is on Dixon Tech. They're holding it at around 2,783 rupees. Could you provide a short to medium term target for this? What are the resistance levels that they should be watching out for?
So wow, I think if you've bought at 2,780 odd levels, you've bought in almost at the cusp of a major bottom formation for Dixon. Would suggest to hold on to the stock as of now. The major resistance is at 3,223 for Dixon Tech, so there could be a retest of that level. That's where I believe you may look to book out profits for Dixon.
Okay, Kunal, then once again, the next query is for you. Arvind Reddy is looking to buy two counters, Anantraj and Ashoka Built Coin. Your advice onto buying both of these?
So Anantraj, I'm extremely bullish. So I think if you have a time frame of 1 year, couple of years, and if you have a risk appetite and an allocation which is according to these high risk, high beta stocks, then I would recommend Anantraj Industries even at current levels, or maybe the stock dips towards 90, 95 levels. Ashoka Buildcon I would avoid. I think the stock has shown a lot of weakness in the last 6-7 months as well. It's very close towards a major support for itself, but then the chart patterns have been very sluggish and weak, so I don't expect this support to hold on for Ashoka Buildcon. I would recommend an avoid over here.
Okay. Saurabh, next query is from Vishal, and this one is on Tata Steel and Hindalco. They're holding 1,100 shares of Tata Steel and Hindalco 200 shares. Now, they're saying given the metal space is highly cyclical, could you advise them in terms of should they be looking to reduce their quantity and half their quantity, and or continue holding these at the same level for the long term?
I think it is better to reduce the position in both the stocks. I think if you look at the Tata Steel, Indian operations have been doing good and the prices have started going up, but it is the European operations which continues to give trouble to Tata Steel. I think it will take approximately 2-3 more quarters for the company to get hold on to the things. So for that matter, I think it is better to reduce push in Tata Steel. If you look at the Hindalco also, I think the numbers were poor, and going forward, I think it is very difficult to predict, given the current amount of volatility in the world environment, how the world economy will plan out, whether we would be able to defend of the recession, how the China is likely to play out. So it is largely a global economics, which is difficult to understand. So in my sense, I think it is better to reduce position in both the stocks.
Saurabh, the next question is for you. RK Jalan has been holding 84,000 shares of TV18 broadcast from a price of 43 rupees. Currently at a loss, and his question is whether to hold or sell some quantity and rather buy ONGC or Ambuja Cements. Saurabh, this one is for you. Okay. maybe some audio glitch with Saurabh, but Kunal, would you be able to help him with this question?
So first things first, not to shift to ACC and Ambuja Cement. You can probably hold on to TV18 broadcast as of now because the indicators are showing signs of divergence. Yes, the stock has fallen very sharply from that 44, 45 mark. I think a few months back. But it's just that on the short-term charts, the indicators are into oversold territory, so we can expect a bounce till maybe 35, 36 levels. So that could be a better level to pair out, your gains. Few mid-cap stocks which I would recommend as an alternative in case if you're looking to invest maybe now or gradually, from current levels, would be something like AB Capital looks extremely attractive and charged up on the charts. From the PSU banking stocks, it's Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, which again look very, very encouraging to me on the charts. And these stocks have also gone through a major correction for themselves. So they could be better alternatives if you're looking to park your money from TV18 broadcast into some other names.
Okay, Kunal, he was rather looking to buy ONGC. Would that be a buy or a hold?
Yeah, I think I've been very bullish on ONGC and I would continue to maintain that stance from current levels. The only catch with ONGC is it's a relatively low beta. So even if you're expecting a 15 to 20% target, you can't expect this. Generally, you can't expect this on a short-term time frame, and you have to keep it stretched to maybe 1.5 year. So if you're comfortable with that, then probably ONGC is also a better option.
Okay, Saurabh is connected with us. Saurabh, the next query is from Satya, and this one is on Vedanta. They bought Vedanta at around 305 rupees per share 2 months back. What is the medium-term strategy, and how is it looking fundamentally?
I think it has recently the stock has come up because of the pledging of the promoter stock pledging and the company's inability to reduce its debt. I think the plans of some sale to the Hindustan Zinc has come to the standstill because of the government intervention, because the government didn't like the transfer of money to the Vedanta. So, and also I think because it is a very volatile space, and as I have just told that. It is very difficult to predict how the global economics will play out. I think the stock is likely to stay in pressure. It is better to get out from any bounce in the stock. So my call would be to exit from the stock.
Okay, Saurabh, Nageshwar is holding 106 shares of Shyam Metallics from a price of 312. Currently at a loss. What's your view on this one?
It's not in coverage.
Okay, Kunal, would you be able to help him on levels?
Yeah, I think the stock is going through a major correction. The only relief part is that yesterday the stock has hit an oversold territory around this 270. I think 268 was the low for the stock yesterday, but then played just for a bounce. If you have holdings from a long-term play, then I think you should look to exit on every major kind of a bounce. I would expect the bounce to last up to maybe 288 kind of level. So another 15 to 16 rupees from current levels is what best I would probably expect the stock over the near term.
Kunal, Ayyappa has bought a put of 17,400 for 122. What should they be doing?
I think you should look to exit. My belief is that the index is heading towards a very big turnaround or a bounce from current levels. In fact, over the last since yesterday, I've been voicing my opinion that the Bank Nifty is expected to go into a very strong bounce, and this could probably help the Nifty also to stabilize. So purely on that aspect, I would believe that more bounce is yet to come. Expecting another 300 to 400 points bounce on the Bank Nifty. So that should probably be one of the reasons why you should look to exit put options.
Okay, Saurabh, what's your take on Jubilant Foods? Sandeep is holding 150 shares of this counter from a price of 505. What's your hope on recovery?
I think it has come to a level where the valuation, if you look at the historical valuation band, I think it has come on the lower side of the band. Going forward, I think the company is likely to post good set of numbers, and the cost inflation is also coming down. So I expect that both margins and the efficiency will improve. So in my sense, I think it is better to hold.
Kunal, the next query is from Richa, and this one is on Ultratech Cement. They're holding it from the prices of around 6,135 rupees. Can they average at current levels?
Well, you can look to average at current levels, and I think it's a good buying zone which you have at 6,100 levels for Ultratech Cement. Again, classical characteristics, the stock being one of the leaders as such from the cement pack, a very stable kind of a stock. So when the stock gets into an upward trend, the upward trend not just lasts for in terms of price duration, but in terms of time duration as well, the uptrend seems to last. So I think it's a good strategy to hold on to Ultratech Cement and keep on buying the stock at maybe every 500 to 1,000 points higher from your existing price.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. Let's keep it going with all your stock-related queries. And Kunal, coming to you for the next one. Ashish has bought shares of Tata Power at a price of 228. He wants to exit this counter as early as possible. Your advice on this?
I'm not sure what's the reason for exit, but then I would suggest a hold on Tata Power. I think it's a very good quality stock, and it's not as if that your purchase price is at those 260 odd levels. You could probably do a bit of an averaging strategy, maybe at sub 200 levels, in case if the stock corrects further, because we've seen time and again that Tata Power has this tendency of correcting towards the sub 200 mark and then bouncing off very strongly from those levels. So I believe a averaging strategy sub 200 could be a better strategy rather than exiting.
Saurabh, James wants your view. Actually, he wants a couple of stocks that one should be looking at in the mid-cap IT space for the long term.
I think it is better to avoid the IT space for that matter, and I would rather suggest to play in the capital goods side for that matter. In the capital goods side, I think Triveni Turbine is a very good stock. Vortec is a very good stock. In the banking space, I think you can put money in the ICICI Bank or Axis Bank. So I think these are the good ideas which can play out well in 2023.
And Saurabh, coming to you, Sukesh has been holding shares of Birla Corporation from a price of 1370 rupees, currently at a loss, but he wants the long-term view on this one.
I think it is a crowded space. I think some of the commodity cost is coming off, but going forward, I think with the monsoon season coming in, these companies would find difficult to raise prices, and there is a huge capacity addition coming for the cement industry. I think it is a space to avoid. I think it is better to exit.
Kaji wants your view on Green Panel Industries. Is it a good time to enter this stock?
Green panel. Well, I would suggest an avoid. It's at 287. The previous high for the stock was 600, and the stock has retraced more than 50% from the recent recovery, I think, of 2021 lows, when the stock was almost at 100 rupees. So from 100 to 600, and the stock has fallen, more than the gains, or rather 50% of the gains from the previous major high. So I think in that regards, it's an avoid.
Kunal, Krish wants your advice on SBI Life. He wants to know, can this counter be added at current levels for the next 3 years?
Well, I would suggest a wait. So, there was a period where SBI Life was one of the best performers from the insurance pack, and I'm talking of it over the last 2-3 months back. But then this recent sell-off for SBI Life has changed the chart patterns quite dramatically. Now the stock is just trying to get into a recuperative phase. So, I don't expect a major recovery to happen for most of the insurance names over the near term. Possibly in the next 2 to 3 months, there could be much better levels to buy these stocks at lower zones. So I would suggest to wait out for another couple of months before you're looking to venture into this space.
Saurabh, Purna wants to know, is it a good time to look at NMDC Steel for the long term?
I think you can look onto it, because recently the company has did a revision in the iron ore prices also. So for that matter, I think the earning visibility becomes more stronger going forward. But since it is a volatile space, you have to keep on a close vigil how the iron ore prices are moving and what kind of price change the company is undertaking. In case the iron ore prices start falling, then it will be the time to sell. For now, it is a hope.
Saurabh, once again coming to you, Kritika bought shares of APL Apollo Tubes from a price of 1295. Currently at a loss, but should she sell this counter now?
Is it for me?
Yes, Saurabh, this one is for you.
Yeah, I think you can continue to hold Apollo Tubes. I think it is a very good old company. If you look at the order backlog, it is having a good order backlog. The commodity cost pressures are also cooling off. There is expectation of margin improvement also. So, in my sense, I think it is good to hold this company.
Kunal, Shri Kutan wants to know your view on Radico Khaitan. Is it a good time to buy this stock for the short term?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to buy the stock. Trading closer to a breakout, 1170.75 is where the stock is trading right now, and heading closer to a breakout zone for Radico. So volumes have also been quite strong, at least in the last 4-5 days of this price recovery. I would suggest a buy as well as a hold.
Okay, Saurabh, coming to you for the next one. Monica purchased shares of HEG, 80 shares at a price of 1660 rupees. Currently at a huge loss. She wants to know, is this a time to average this counter or wait for some more time?
I think it is very difficult to predict how the conditions will play out as we are looking that the industry the manufacturing cycle will pick up and the capital goods sector is likely to do well. I think the fortunes are linked to that sector only. So I think for that matter, it is better to wait for a quarter to for one more quarter. Let the earnings comes in the month of April or May. Look for the guidance and then take a decision. For now, it is a hold.
Now, Manish, Raju wants to know in terms of as of the given the current market scenario, should one actually broad-based be looking to book out profits in the market for the short term and re-enter later on?
Yeah, it depends on what's your overall trading strategy, BC, because you may not be able to time the markets with absolute precision. So, and specifically with the list of stocks which you may probably be holding, I'm assuming. So, I think in that regards, it all depends on what time frame you're looking out for. My belief, as I said, is that there could be at least another, 1 to 2% kind of a very small short-term jump into the indices from current levels. So, maybe at 41,000 on the Bank Nifty odd or 17,700 broadly for the Nifty. Those are better levels where you may look to probably book out.
Okay, Saurabh, Manohar bought shares of HDFC Life from a price of 606, currently at a loss. So he should book loss at this time or hold on?
See, in Indian stock market, if you look at all the insurance companies, they're very quietly richly valued, and in the sense that India is a market which is very underpenetrated. But given the fact that the new tax regime has come to the default and the old tax regime will get phased out in the next 2 3 years, I think it will be very difficult for these companies to get the new business. I mean, most of the people, park money in the insurance just to save tax, and for that matter, in the next 2 3 years that thing is going to change, and that is what markets are trying to price in the valuation. So in my sense, it is better to avoid. It is a avoid sector, and it is better to get out of the company.
Kunal, this next question we have from the viewer is on Chambal fertilizers. They want to know should they be looking to buy Chambal fertilizers 300 call option?
See, when you're ideally looking to buy stocks into a recovery phase, don't buy too much out of the money, because then you're expecting a lot that the stock would get into not just a bounce, but the bounce could be very strong. So and the given the kind of market recovery where we are into right now, it's always better to try and buy at the money. So maybe a 280 strike, if there is for Chambal fertilizer, that could be a better strike to buy from a short term play.
Okay, Kunal, Anu wants to know the short-term view on IDBI Bank. She's holding 25,000 shares from a price of 59 rupees 40 paisa.
Well, I would suggest to hold on to the stock as of now. Yes, IDBI Bank has been into the thick of news flow in terms of disinvestment, etc. But then I think just purely on the charts, it's a stock which is still trading about the 200-day moving average at 48, 49 levels. So I would suggest a hold.
Saurabh, Soumitra Joshi wants your view on Happiest Minds. How is it looking like fundamentally?
I think it is richly valued on the valuation side, though company is quite hopeful of the good business, and they are sticking to their plan for hiring more workforce to their more people to their workforce. But for that matter, I'm still worried about the fortunes of this sector and the kind of growth that they have witnessed. So in my opinion, I think it is a set.
Okay, Saurabh, R.K. Muthuraman has been holding shares of BSC from a price of 800 rupees, and now his investment is almost half. What to do next?
I think it is better. First, my advice would be not to average it, and I think better wait for a quarter or two how the earnings are likely to pan out, and then take a call. For now, it is a hope.
Kunal, Ajay Kumar wants your view on RVNL and Lemon Tree. How are they looking fundamentally for the mid to short term? Is it the right time to enter this one?
Well, may not be able to comment on fundamental basis, but on charts, RVNL as well as the other stock which you mentioned, Lemon Tree. I think both these stocks are looking attractive. In fact, the hospitality space has been looking exceptionally strong. I would prefer Indian Hotels as one of the better bets, but then Lemon Tree would be more of high beta mid cap name. So you can be bullish on the stock, but just a slight preference would be Indian Hotels from the hospitality space.
Okay, Kunal, Jay Krishnan is holding shares of Deepak Nitrite from a price of 2160 rupees. Will this can this counter give a breakout? He's a medium-term investor. Your advice?
Well, the good part is that the stock is holding on to a major support. The last time the stock was at this 1800 mark was, I think, in the month of June, July 2022, and from there the stock bounced off to almost 2300 levels in a matter of 3-4 months. So we can probably expect this time around as well the bounce to play out for Deepak Nitrate. I would suggest a hold, and if possible, you can look to even average at the 1750 odd mark.
Okay. Saurabh, we have Manjunath from Chennai who's holding Carcel at 508 rupees, 186 shares. For the long term, they are ready to hold it for a period of 5 years. What would you be suggesting on this stock? Is it a good hold, or should they be exiting from this one and maybe looking at something like an Apollo Hospital or any other stock?
Didn't get this stock. Can you please tell me the name again?
It was Acrisel for the company. Saurabh?
Again, I didn't got.
Caricel.
It's not in coverage.
Okay. Kunal, do you have a view on this?
I don't track the stock, but then the chart patterns very recently, last I think 2 or 3 weeks, has shown some sort of recovery. So again, I'm not sure what time frame you're looking out for and what's the risk appetite, but I would generally avoid these kind of names. And on rallies, especially the rally which the stock has seen the last 3 weeks, it's better that you start reducing your holdings and try and go back to the traditional large cap names.
Okay, Saurabh Naga is holding shares of PVR from a price of 1680 rupees, currently at a loss. What's your view on this one?
I think it is good to hold after the merger. I think the synergies would help these companies to grow their profit. And also, if you look at the ticket prices, they are steadily, strongly going up, and quite a good amount of good lineup of movies are coming in 2023. I think that would be great for the company like PVR. For that matter, I think it is a hold.
Okay, Kunal, the next one is on ITC. The viewer wants to know, what is a good price to accumulate ITC? They're currently holding 34 shares at an average price of 181 rupees.
I think you've been holding on to the stock at a very precise level of turnaround for ITC. I think you should just hold on to your existing holdings as of now. And in terms of levels to average, in case if the stock dips towards 360 levels, that could be a good point where you can start averaging, and then maybe another every 5% lower levels from those particular points is where you can look to even average further.
Okay, Saurabh, Vishal wants to know, is this a good time to buy fine organics for the long term?
Coverage.
Okay, not in coverage. Kunal, any view on this one?
Yeah, you can look to accumulate at current levels. It's trying to form a major bottom. The volumes in last 1 month has improved significantly for fine organics. So a major bottom was in place at 4,400 levels. The stock has seen a first round of a bounce and now a retest of the previous low. So I think it's a good chart. You can look to average at current zone.
Okay, on that note, let's get started with the rapid fire. And Saurabh, I'm going to start with you. This query is coming in from Santhan, and this one is on PCBL. They're holding 121 shares at 2,200 rupees. At 121 rupees, 2,200 shares. Should they continue to hold or sell?
It's a hold.
Okay, Kunal, Jasmine is looking to invest into Tata Motors and Bajaj Auto. Any view on this?
Tata Motors, yes. Bajaj Auto, I would suggest an avoid.
Okay. Saurabh, Nara is holding 200 shares of Quick Heal at an average price of 150 rupees. Should they continue to hold or sell?
Better to exit.
Okay, Saurabh, Chandrasekharan is holding shares of Praj Industries from a price of 405, but can this be held on to it for the next 1 year?
Yes, it's a hold.
Kunal, Deepa wants to know, can they buy Saxosoft?
Well, yeah, I think at current levels of 145 approximately, it's a good stock where you can look to buy.
Saurabh, Manish bought shares of Mazgaon Dock from a price of 860 rupees. He wants to know, when can we see the stock touching 1,000?
It is difficult to say because the valuations have already gone up. I think from the long-term perspective, it is a stable.
Kunal, we have a viewer who is holding 60 shares of Rallis at 250 rupees. They're making a loss and wants to move to another stock. Would you suggest that? And if yes, which one?
Yeah, I would suggest an exit and probably shift towards AB Capital.
Okay, Kunal, Abhimanyu wants to know, can he buy ICICI Bank for the next 2 years?
Of course, yes.
Saurabh, Girish is holding Gujarat Pipavav 1,500 shares at 96. Hold or sell?
It's a hold.
Okay, moving on to the next query. And Kunal, Sudha wants to is holding shares of PNC from a price of 328. Your advice?
I would suggest to exit.
Okay. The next query is on Oil India. This is from Ankit Jain, and they bought 250, bought it at 255 rupees, hold or exit. What's the view on this, Kunal?
Extremely bullish, would suggest a hold.
Kunal, once again for you, Pawan is holding 10 shares of Jindal Poly from a price of 990 at a 40% loss. Your advice?
I think you should look to exit.
Okay, and that is the last query that we were taking for today. That was the end of the rapid fire round as well. Thank you so much, Kunal, Saurabh, for joining in with us, and thank you so much, viewers, for sending us your queries. But on that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, viewers. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more updates on the market after this break. Welcome back, and you're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's talk about Andhra Pradesh. It is making great strides for development of petrochemicals and petroleum sector in India, as it happens to be one of the only 4 states within India to have a petroleum chemicals and petrochemicals investment region by successfully setting up 3 major ports within the designated PCPIR region at Visakhapatnam, Gangavaram and Kakinada. It has risen itself to become the largest PCPIR region in the country. When it comes to resources, India's largest offshore fields are found in Krishna Godavari basin of Andhra Pradesh.
Now, crude oil and natural gas recoverable reserves are around 698 million metric ton of oil equivalent. Now, in the KG basin alone, crude oil production is about 19,190 per day, along with the natural gas production, which is around 9.8 million metric standard cubic meter per day. Now, today, Andhra Pradesh is preferred destination for imports of feedstock from the Middle East, Asia Pacific and East Asia, and this state, with its world-class infrastructure and multiple ports, is poised to become a hub for petrochemical product manufacturing. State has already attracted $2.4 billion worth of investment in petroleum and petrochemical structure. Truly, Andhra Pradesh holds a great advantage for potential in this sector, a sector where abundance meets prosperity. Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time to wrap this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Thank you so much for watching.